I mentioned looking at the US dollar index. You can track this in Ameritrade, right? It's you just put in a dollar in DXY. That's the ticker right there. That's what the index is. And if you, I did put this chart right next to the S&P index, and you can see this correlation as the dollar's rising, right? I believe this is 3 months at the 3-month chart. So as the dollar's rising, you can see here the S&P is falling, and they really do link very nicely together. So if you guys want to start tracking this US dollar, that's a good way to see maybe what might be happening in the market coming in the future. You can see the stochastics and the MACDs are down here kind of low, so that may be an indicator, right? If the dollar is going to start turning around and bounce right off of this support line, then the market's going to go down. I know the election is tomorrow. Mara and I were kind of talking about that, right? Depending on how that goes, that could definitely swing the market one way or the other. But it's kind of just a quick hit. It's a little bit of a superficial impact in the market, and until the Fed and the government start overall making some real changes to impact supply, basically to meet the demand, I don't think we're going to see a major shift from the negativity that's been going on. So one of the other things I wanted to bring up is that there are some statistics in Ameritrade. I found this database. It's called the Fred database, and if you type Fred in, you can come up with a couple different indicators in Ameritrade under the Analyze tab, and then you go to the Economic Data window right here. I put a quick example in here for everybody. So that's in there. I also looked up in Ameritrade. You can't actually buy the bonds themselves in Thinkorswim, but you can buy like ETFs that follow bonds, so you can get high yield bonds and short-term or long-term bonds. I have a couple examples of those in Ameritrade, so I can look at those. But if you want to physically buy the bonds, you can log in to TD Ameritrade site directly, and they have a bond wizard that just walks you through what your criteria is and what would be best for what you're looking to buy, and give you a whole bunch of options, and then you can buy and sell bonds directly through them. Let's see.
Is this on Thinkorswim, Andy?
Not buying the bonds themselves, but
no, but this tab, the Fred.
Yes, let me pull this up. Hold on. Let me go to bonds here. So, okay, so I put, let's see, here's Fed. So go to the Analyze tab. This one is the Fed funds. So if you go over here to Economic Data, it gives you the rates based on the timeline, and you can adjust it. Like right now they got it on max, but if you go to year, so just this year, and there's other options in here, monthly, quarterly, so you can change, you can go ahead and customize it to how you want to see it. And you can see here's the Fed rate, right? Back in January, they started raising this stuff in March, and it's just been incrementing up and up and up. So this data's in here. I found, here's a 10-year, this one's a 10-year US Treasury bonds right here. So you can track this. And again, you can go ahead and set your time period in here. Let's see, there's unemployment rate. I found unemployment rate. That's this one. Let's look at 5 years of the unemployment rate. Oops, I'll go back. So this was COVID, right? When everybody stopped working. when all the restaurants and all the businesses shut down, and then it came back down. So it really is low, which is positive for the economy overall. So CPI is this one. And again, it always goes to max each time I switch. So you kind of have to adjust it and reset it each time and play around with it. But this is inflation, CPI numbers, right? So, I mean, what I did, Todd, like you were asking, I mean, you can just type Fred, oops, not feed, Fred, and it starts to bring up some different options in here, so you can find these, and I can put the ones that I was kind of looking at here. I'll put them in the Discord chat so you guys can grab the tickers from there if you want to.
Oh, there we go. I just tried it on my own just to see, watch it, to see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so
Cool, good.
that worked.
And the dollar was this one, the chart. This is where I'm tracking the US dollar is right here. So you kind of need it to fall down past this support line, and then the market should start doing a little bit better. So yeah, are there any other questions? Okay, because I know you guys all understood everything I said about bonds.
Did you buy a bond?
I did not buy a bond.
Can you buy one and just let us know how it goes?
Yeah. Well, honestly, like, so if you can get a 3-month bond that's gonna return 4% right now, that can be better than what you're doing in the
I was
stock.
gonna say that would make my year right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then in 3 months, if the market's doing better, then you can get that money and put it back in the market. So it does have some appeal.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking about it. But if I buy, I'll let you guys know, just to see how the whole process works.
Yeah, more just for the process. Doesn't be a lot of money just to see. Well, I just want to. Is there a certain? Can you buy a bond at any amount?
I don't think so. I think they have set prices, or they'll have minimums, like you have to buy like 5 bonds or 10 bonds or something, even though they might be $100 a piece. They won't let you just buy $100. You have to spend $1,000 or something along those lines. But like I said, I haven't bought it yet, but I plan to probably the rest of this week maybe take a look at it, at least get on Ameritrade and do the bond wizard and see what it brings up, see what they suggest. So
Mary, have you done a bond before?
No, but I was following TNX, which is bond yield ETF. Check that out. Actually, I did.
oh yeah, I already have it in here.
Right.
Yeah, the 10-year Treasury index. Yeah,
That just zipped up. Now, while the S&P was falling down, that was flying up.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it did.
Mhm.
Basically, you would have doubled your money this year.
Yeah, you would have. I mean, there was all this in the news, though, that, oh, the bonds aren't reacting like they typically do to when the stock market goes down. So there was same in terms of gold, the commodities aren't responding the same. I mean, because there's nothing typical about this market. Maybe it'll turn more typical now. I don't know. But it's hard to know exactly, okay, well, where do you go?
Right.
And the institutions will go in for a couple seconds, make a ton of money, and then get out again. And then people like us are like, well, okay, what just happened?
Mary, can you buy TNX just like you do a stock?
Yeah, it's an ETF.
Oh, it's an ETF. Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I have another one. Let's see, this one. Yeah, this was like a 5-year of the interest rates, because TNX was that. Yeah, that's 10-year.
Yeah, and we were also watching at one point HYG.
Yep. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, so that's that's
And-
the interesting. So this is a high yield, right?
That's right.
And it's been coming down. And I put a bunch in here. This one's BAB, right? Some of these are short term versus long term. But look at these charts.
Right.
I can just move through these. They all look almost exactly the same, and they all are very down, right? So for the most part, the bond ETFs are not doing well. But this one,
No, which is weird, isn't it?
yeah,
And that's where, this is why this market is so challenging. Because it's not as predictable or consistent as it used to be in the past. Because we're not in a predictable time, right?
right,
Yeah, so it's yeah, it's a challenge, obviously.
right, right. So, I
But
mean, really, if I hear a lot of, I mean, if you're already in stuff, to continue to buy it and, you know, basically lower your buy-in point, to make it easier to get profitable. But that means you got to have money to be putting into the market.
and
And
also is assuming that we're going to be finding the bottom soon. That's the problem too, right? Is like, okay, I'm going to keep throwing money at this thing, but yet it keeps falling down.
right,
So it's like, okay, well, I would think you'd want to do that when you think you're getting close to the bottom, but I don't know that we know where the bottom is yet.
correct.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I hear a lot of people talking about, you know, first quarter next year.
Yeah. Hopefully.
And I've mentioned before, traditionally, right, when you get into the second half of a presidential term, the markets do in general, or the overall economy and everything starts going a little bit better, usually because the president wants to get reelected. I'm assuming Biden's not going to run again, so that may not be the case. But overall, I'm assuming the economy should start getting better, no matter who's running. I mean, they all want to claim that they're the reason why the economy does better, why the stock market does better, and so
Right.
for some reason yeah. So historically, it should start going up. I'll keep my fingers crossed and hope that happens come January, March, first or second quarter.
Right.
So